without further ado, good morning to everybody. I believe most of the viewers are members of the bar. I am Richard Wee. Today is part of my law firm's effort to try and assist the members of the bar, maybe with some discussion, some dialogues, hoping that at the end of this 1 hour, there'll be some sort of ideas for all of us to take home. So what we did was we managed to gather a few members of the bar from 4 different areas, literally 4 different areas in Malaya.
Four corners of Malaya.
4 corners of Malaya, yeah. So from up north, we have Miss Lim Yang Yang, also known as Yvonne. And hi Yvonne. And then we have my good friend from Kelantan, or Ahmad bin Alwi. On Facebook, you
Hi.
see him as Saya Ahmad. This webinar will be in bilingual, which even though Ahmad is very fluent in Bahasa Inggeris, but I purposely I requested to speak in Malay with him. And in fact, any of the speaker would really like to speak Malay, we can speak Bahasa Malaysia. And then in the center of Malaya, we have Choo Dee Wei, who's also a proprietor of his own firm. And then from southbound, our big boss from Johor, Mr. Jayabalan.
Hey guys, how you all? Big boss, I like that.
Big boss, yeah.
Yeah. There's only one big boss in Johor, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Joking, guys.
Jaya was kind enough to come in because I wanted him to share with his views with us, because he's the current chairperson of the Small Firms Committee of the Bar, and he would like to give some of his thoughts over what's happening on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on law firms and legal services. I will try to speak also on behalf of the employees. But to be fair, this topic is not about the employer versus employee topic. It is a law firm as one.
Yeah.
One as a law firm as one. What are we going to do? And legal services, the impact of this to legal services. Do we have to change the way we practice from now on? So again, since I've mentioned your name, can I first introduce Miss Lim Yang Yang? Yvonne, would you like to share a few minutes, 1 minute about yourself? All yours, Yang Yang.
Hi, I'm Yang Yvonne Lim from Langkawi. I'm currently practicing from Langkawi, but I do go out to Alostar town because I have another firm there. So we can't do much, and we can only bring files back to home and checking emails, replying to just clear up all the work that's still pending. And that's it.
Yeah, that seems to be the work at the moment. So Ahmad, kita Kelantan sekarang macam mana? All yours, Ahmad.
Ya, semua okey. Hai, saya Ahmad daripada Kelantan, Kota Baru. So, keadaan semua terkawal di Kota Baru, cuma everybody getting start to worry lah bila dapat pergi ke firm balik.
Jadi kat Kota Baru, Ahmad, your firm lazimnya buat kerja-kerja litigation ke conveyancing?
Mostly office saya buat running down matters for plaintiff.
Okay, alright. So there is a big problem there. No court, no fees.
Yeah, only e-reviews.
Betul, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dee Wei, Choo Dee Wei, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
My name is Dee Wei. I'm practicing in the KL area, and just like everyone else, hoping and wanting to go back to the office. Never thought I'll say it, but I do want to work.
Yeah, I think we all long to go back office when it is safe to go back to office.
Yeah.
Not just go back for the going back. Yeah. So they're right. Okay, Jaya, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hey, hi guys. Good morning. My name is Jayabalan, and I'm practicing in Johor Bar, basically running a small firm with about four staff and 1 LA, based in Johor Bar. And just like in the rest of the country, we are all missing work and missing office.
Yeah. Thanks,
now,
Jaya.
before I proceed, Richard, can I just put on record on behalf of the other speakers as well? I think I would like to thank you yourself, Richard Wee, and also Richard Wee Chambers for organizing this. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for members of the bar to actually share our concern basically exchange our sob stories and see whether we can find some common ground to proceed further. And if I put it in another way, just to pour out our agony together lah. But anyway, it's a good job, Richard. Thank you so much for giving us that opportunity.
Thank you very much. I guess even though I've retired from the bar, but there's still a part of me which feels that, you know, I still want to do whatever I can for the bar. And as some of you know, we're still helping the bar through the CPD. Well, anyway, we'll do what we can.
Well,
Thanks,
Richard, as the saying goes, you can leave the bar, but the bar never leaves you.
That is true. That is true, So anyway, thank you very much. I didn't expect that. Thank you. Terima kasih. So with that, thank you very much to the panel speakers for introducing themselves. The ambit of this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, we have now 77 people logging on. Thank you very much for logging in. Or you just went up to 79. Is this? We are going to discuss what is the impact of the pandemic, particularly the MCO, also known as PKP, on law firms and legal services now. But that will be a short discussion. But yesterday, the Prime Minister made a special announcement which apparently law firms now can operate. So we will have a slightly extensive discussion on that, where I think I would like to invite Jaya to give most of the views on that. And then later on in the morning, we will be discussing post-MCO, what do we think will be the impact on law firms? And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the four panelists were chosen not only for their specialty, but for the unique geographical location of their office. They are literally from four corners of Malaya. And we will be discussing, of course, Peninsular Malaysia issues. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Jaya to maybe have a dialogue on this one issue first. You know, Jaya, with the MCO going on, what do you think was the first immediate impact on law firms throughout Malaya?
Okay, I think we all going through it now, and whatever that I'm saying, I'm merely echoing what most of us are experiencing, right? So there's nothing new there. But the immediate impact is basically our work has stopped. Office separations have stalled, correct? When work stops, what it basically means is revenue stop coming in. Money has stopped coming in, but at the same time, our cost continues, correct? So if you look at it, I think generally we can see, and I do only litigation. So whatever that I can share with you is probably only from the litigation aspect. I handle general litigation. I don't do conveyancing. So maybe Yvonne and others can help me on that. But what we basically see now, if we summarize it, is basically we cannot operate at the moment. All right, we have come to an almost complete stall. Litigation has stopped virtually. E-review, what is going on is only e-review is basically keeping the cases going, only that too, only for the new cases. Conveyancing has stalled as well. Now, we are kind of tied with the client's instruction at the moment, because whatever instruction that the client has given, we can't move forward. All right, there are certain things that we can do, but for all intent and purposes or practical purposes, instructions have stalled as well. There's a complete jam, and in the meanwhile, our cost is continuing. So, what are the costs that we're looking at? Look, rental. Our rental continues. Staff salary runs. Our overheads continues. So the immediate concern I would basically say is basically in terms of operations and in terms of revenue, as I mentioned just now. That is, if I have to summarize it. That is a position we have found ourselves in. And what is the way forward? I have not seen any way forward. Looks like this is going to go on for at least minimum 6 months. But 12 months seems to be a more logical expectation. So even if we come out from the MCO, we are still looking at another, well, you know, kind of similar situation for the next 6 months minimum.
Yeah, slow down.
It's a slowdown. It's going to be a slowdown. So even if you're allowed to go back to office, I don't think it will be the same as before. Whatever happened, you're going to have a period which is pre-18 September, pre-18 March, and post-18 March. All right, we can forget. This is what, the moment we go back to the office now, that is going to be a new normal for our practice. We all will be learning towards in a new curve after this. This will be a completely new experience.
Yep, I think so too. Well said, Jai. I think you really set the tone for the discussion. Yang, what has the impact so far been for you, looking from your point of view in Langkawi and Kedah?
For Kedah State, as Jaya just covered the litigations part, So I would think that for those convenience, pejabat tanah land office is closed. Even though stamp duty office is open, we can only go for stamp duty. But once land office is not operate, we can't do our registration. I got a few cases that pending registration because of the MCO, and I believe the same will happen to other firms as well. And for me, because I don't do much on developers work, so I'm still okay. I don't have the pressure from the developers to ask for go back to work and all this. But I believe those are in developer lines, lawyer may have some difficulties, you know. And in terms of, because no legal firms can operate, in fact, I got 2 cases that pending receive the titles from vendors, solicitors.
I see.
So at the moment, even I'm considering not to operate my firm after 14 April, despite MITI has agreed, and in the event that Bar Council has get a blanket consent from them for all of us to operate, because I see the numbers, if we compare to other countries, are very bad, but because they don't take that kind of measurement that taken by our government. So we should give our contingent support to KKM so that we can do this working.
Okay, good point. Good point. Looks like it's quite difficult. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Yvonne, land office is closed at the moment, isn't it?
Yes. Land office is closed, so we can't do registration.
Okay, good point. Alright, Ahmad, jadi lepas kita kerajaan mengisytiharkan MCO tu, PKP tu bulan Mac tu, apabila kamu lihat kepada keadaan firma-firma guaman lah dan perkhidmatan guaman kat Kota Baru tu dan Kelantan, kamu lihat apakah impact MCO PKP terhadap firma-firma kita di Kota Baru dan Kelantan?
Kebanyakan yang saya dapat maklumat lah daripada kawan-kawan, ramai yang mengeluh lah sebab tak sempat buat collection. Lepas tu worry pasal cash flow lah, sebab kita memang tak sempat lah buat collection hujung bulan. MCO berlaku tengah bulan kan, jadi ramai yang risau lah pasal berkenaan firma mereka.
Jadi lagipun kita pun risau tentang kesihatan kita, keselamatan kita. Tak tahu virus ni memang virus yang amat berbahaya dan so invincible kan, tak tahu bila nak datang.
Betul. Tambah-tambah lagi Kota Baru kawasan merah.
Ya,
dan pertambahan kes pun sentiasa wujud dari hari ke hari lah.
Jadi memang hati kita pun rasa resah hari-hari. Nak masuk pejabat pun takut juga kan.
Betul. Sebab kita tak tahu kita kontak dengan siapa. Dan kita tak tahu sama ada orang yang kita kontak tu ada pembawa ataupun dah memang positif.
Itulah baru-baru ni aku baca report tu, seorang kita Malaysia pergi Korea. Lepas tu dia balik, dia enggan kuarantin. Lepas tu dia pergi kahwin lah, jumpa orang kahwin lah, majlis kahwin. Pergi masjid, pergi sana, la. Semua kena. Dia pasal dia seorang, kena banyak orang.
Betul.
Kadang-kadang pada hemat saya lah, kalau kita nak charge orang-orang yang lari, yang orang keluar, MCO dia nak tangkap, dia nak menggarikan orang macam tu, saya rasa kita kena charge juga orang-orang yang balik daripada luar negeri ni tak berkuarantin. Itu pun
betul, saya setuju.
Ini kesalahan lah. Anyway, good to hear that you're okay, Ahmad, but we will come back to you later on the Kelantan issues.
Okay.
Dee Wei, you and I are in the same, we are both in Klang Valley. The moment the MCO came about, what was the immediate impact to law firms? What can you see? And don't forget, we in Klang Valley, we have law firms which is with 100 lawyers, 50 lawyers, and then there are firms like 5-10 lawyers. So across the board, what have you noticed on the impact of the MCO to us?
Well, for Klang Valley, what I perceived and saw when it was announced, remember we had 1 day to get our affairs into order, so to speak. And that day it was chaotic because we needed to tell all our clients, manage manage all the files and then manage clients' expectations. Truth be told, that one day wasn't sufficient, but well, we have to make do with what we have to do. So if you ask me, long story short, it was chaotic. And I believe the positive part of it is that now after almost going to be a month, we are getting accustomed to how things are right now. So this will be the new norm, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Even Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this word, the new normal.
It's the new normal, yeah.
Yes, the new normal. Correct. The new normal. Yeah.
So talking about Tan Sri Muhyiddin, our Prime Minister, he made mention yesterday, and then among the services apparently permitted to operate is now surprisingly law firm. So yesterday he mentioned that hardwares are permitted to open. If I can just list down, hardwares, electrical products, optician, surprisingly, optician, barber shops. I don't know how you have a barber shop.
And only haircut, no shaving.
Only haircut, exactly. Yeah. Then we have Kedai Gopi, which is the non self-service type, and then Kesihatan Hospital, including traditional medicine. So all of us can now go for foot massage, I think. Then then we have professionals. We also have technical professionals we are allowed to open, including the words they use in Bahasa Malaysia, berkaitan guaman, R&D berkaitan Covid-19, makmal ujian, dan minyak dan gas. So Jaya, looking at what they have reported to yesterday, what MITI have issued out last night, many of us seen MITI. We also saw the Bar Council issuing out a circular last night, which mentioned that the court still conducting hearing online. What's your immediate reaction when you see all this? How do you think we're going to react to this? And if you want to operate a law firm, how do you think we'll apply? All yours, Jaya.
All right. First of all, when I look at the circular that the press release that we issued yesterday, and then followed by the announcement from the court, I really do not see the point of applying for approval. Right? Let's leave out the question of whether it is about the conditions and all that. If for us who do litigation, first of all, our main concern is to get the court matters going on. Now, when the courts have decided straight away that it's the status quo, and there's nothing much that you can do, there's no point in going back to the office. So you're going to open office and do what? Now, you then look at the issue of applying for the approval. That is a separate process by itself, which I think they have announced yesterday. You can only make the application on the 13th of April. 13th of April, morning 10 o'clock, I believe that's when the portal opens. Conditions will be attached. But at the moment, they have a standard SOP which has got that 14 requirements. Forget about 14. Let's take even 3 years. It makes, to me, it is very, very onerous. For example, they require you basically to be responsible for your staff. I mean, we all want to be responsible. But then again, they also say you are completely responsible whatever happens to your staff on the way when they are coming and going to the office. You have to sanitize the office and so on, and at least 3 times a day. You have to keep a record, and then there will be further conditions imposed. So on a balanced view, I really do not see the point of actually going back to the office. All right, I would prefer to do what we are doing now, which is we do remote working. Frankly, I think what's going to happen now is we have to get used to 2 words: remote working, remote lawyering. I think this is how it's going to be like for the next 6 months, and after that for another 1 year. And the court might change their position as well, you know, because if you see over the last 2 weeks, the courts have now more or less realized they can get things going through online using technology. Before this, they were not that open. Right, even with the e-filing and all that. Now they've actually discovered, hey, even if the lawyers don't come to court, we can still go on with the matters. This could actually backfire on us later. All right? But it's good. It's actually good. You know why? Many of us sometimes we prefer, you know, we spend more time waiting in court. So myself no need to go to court if we are given a specific time and I can run the case from my office. All right? Or even from wherever I am. Hence, what I think is, if going back to the office is no longer possible, and we are not going to get back the norm pre-18 of March, then what we are looking at is 2 words. We have to get used to remote working. We have to get used to remote lawyering. And the technology has made it possible for all that. So coming back to your question, Richard, I do not see of even taking the trouble of putting in that application for the approval. Right? Well, situation might be different for a larger firm. Correct? For a larger firm, people are in KL, you have constant workflow, and then you have deadlines after deadlines, and you think you can cover with all those, you will be handled to all those SOP, then I suppose you may be in a better position to apply. Correct? But for the smaller firms, and if I take Johore Bar, I think we have about 1,000 over firms. For smaller firms, I do not see the point of it.
Yeah, good point. I think to be fair, and I think Jay, you will agree with me by saying this. Generally, of course, we look at it as a large firm and small firm issue, but I think we also need to see the essentiality lah. What really that firm? So it could be a one-man show, but that chap or that lady needs to really go back to office. Then we understand lah,
Yeah.
But Yvonne, so I totally agree with you, Jay. I think spot on. You got it spot on. Yvonne, for conveyancing matters, yesterday I put up my comment on Facebook that I don't see a need to go back to office. And then, of course, some of my friends of the bar who are conveyancers mentioned that actually, Richard, to be fair, in some cases, the property developers and the bankers are still going after their deadlines. And that has placed pressure on law firms. So in your view, generally, will allowing us to set up, reopen our office, would it assist us in complying the work, or can we actually conduct our conveyancing work at home? Can you give a general comment, please?
Okay, in terms of conveyancing, like I share from what I experienced. I know that a few banks, they are not doing letter of instructions to the firm. I have one case, 2 cases pending, that letter of instruction is not out yet, even until it is pre-MCO until now. So when MCO, I checked with the officer told me that even the bankers, they are taking turns to come back to office. So they will put aside on all these, they will process other loans than most important loan like the current SME loan. So in terms of conveyancing practice, if land office is not open and you take back work, you can only prepare documents, but you cannot meet up clients for signing. So it defeats the purpose. So all these we can go back when the MCO is listed, we can still go back to work, and we can even do overtime to just get all this done. I'm thinking that safety is more important at the moment.
Okay, good point. Ahmad, kita kat Kota Baru tu dengan pengumuman semalam, kamu rasa banyak ada firma-firma peguam nak buka balik pejabat minggu depan?
Daripada feedback yang saya dapat, memang ramai yang berusaha lah akan apply untuk buka, tetapi mereka risau dengan syarat-syarat yang diletakkan oleh kerajaan, terutamanya berkenaan dengan risiko yang perlu ditanggung oleh firma jika pekerja mereka didapati positif atas COVID. Saya rasa benda tu lebih merugikan firma. Jadi daripada kita buka, baik kita tutup, kerja dari rumah. Cuma buat mana yang termampu saja.
Kita nampak macam kita pusing kiri pun salah, pusing kanan pun salah.
Betul.
Memang betul. Nampak teruk sikit. Dee Wei, do you think with this announcement by MITI, do you think law firms should apply, and I think Jay also can chip in this, but Dee Wei first, do you think law firms should apply directly to MITI to open a firm, or do you think Bar Council should apply directly, and how do you think they can go about it?
I think law firms should apply it individually if they do want to open, if it's so dire for them to open it. But if Bar Council were to open it, it's quite difficult since the conditions are very much firm. It's for each firm to comply with it rather than a holistic global kind of allowance to them all.
Yeah, it is going to be a challenge, isn't it, for Bar Council to apply for?
It would be.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, most of us would have been thinking, yeah, let Council apply for a blanket approval for all law firms. But the moment if we peruse the terms and conditions, like what the way Ahmad have clearly placed forward, the onerous application, memang banyak sangat keadaan terma-terma yang diletakkan. Jadi kemungkinan kalau Bar Council membuat permohonan pun, saya rasa Bar Council amat susah untuk memberi undertaking yang sewajarnya untuk kesemua firma-firma di Malaysia. Saya rasa mungkin Bar Council tidak may not be in a position to apply for everybody. I don't know. Maybe the office bearers know better than us, isn't it, Dee Wei?
You know, can I add on?
Yeah.
All yours, yeah.
Dee Wei, are you done? Are you finished?
Yeah, done.
You see, my thinking is, you see, they're going to have different considerations to different areas. Look, Kota Baru is a red area, red zone. Johor Bahru is the red zone, all right? And there are some areas which is green zone and so on. So it is, to me, it is very difficult if we say there's going to be a standard consideration for all firms. So if there is not going to be a standard consideration, then I do not see how BC can put in a blanket application and obtain a blanket approval.
Yeah.
Right. So ultimately, I suppose when you look at it, it will fall back on the individual firms. If you think you can comply, maybe you can apply. Let's see what is their conditions, and then you can reconsider. If you think now that you have in black and white, what are those conditions? If you think you'll be able to comply, it is economically feasible for you to run this, it makes sense, then maybe you can apply and then run the firm. Otherwise, you may have to think twice. But having said that, I think we all agree that those conditions are necessary because of the situation that we are in.
It would be.
I don't think any of us are questioning as to why those ought to be imposed. I think those are necessary because of the, the silent enemy or the invisible enemy that we are facing. The only question is whether it's within our means to comply with all that, if at all we decide to go on. So nobody should misunderstand as if we lawyers, we are questioning why those conditions are being imposed.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Jay. As usual, you put it very clear.
And also one more thing.
Yes, Dee Wei, all yours, Dee Wei.
To apply for it as well, I don't know what would be the consideration if the employee is from a red zone area, or if the employee is in a area that is under an enhanced MCO.
Yeah. So there will be different considerations, you see. So that's why it cannot be a standard application.
Correct. Yeah.
And also, even though we saw MITI putting that obligation on employer to incur the cost, I putting cost aside, I think we also have to think, as all of us here are employers, and if I speak as an employee, if I'm a staff or a lawyer or a law firm, I'll be terrified to have to go to work. And then I have a question here from Ahmad. Ahmad here is asking about Ahmad Farhan. Say, what about when we have to attend to clients? You look at that. Even how do we meet clients to sign the even this? The lawyers are very worried. Macam mana ni kita dekat-dekat nak sign? So what more when we have a situation?
During client.
Yeah, so one more when we have a situation where we have to actually, go to office. So I think even employees will be concerned, isn't it? They will have their own concerns. We will all be very concerned about going to office,
Yeah.
So okay. So
and don't forget, we have to come back home. We have our family. We might.
So to summarize so far, we have still got half an hour more. Of course, we can extend because this is an ongoing topic. 111 people already. Thank you so much for logging on. I think this is the biggest forum. Even in the Bar Council, Jay, we cannot get such a big forum. So far, the summary is this. You can summarize, especially those who just logged on. Number one, the impact of MCO on law firm immediately was we were rushing. Our cash flow was affected. Employees were stuck. They were not sure whether they should go or stay. Employers were unsure what they have to do. I think like Yvonne said that even pre-MCO, she received instructions. Now this MCO, she's not sure whether it can go on. The banks cannot move. So the first 2 weeks of the MCO was quite kilang kabut for all of us. But as what the panel said, eventually all of us got used to it. Now the discussion for the last 10 minutes was about the MITI and Tan Sri Muhyiddin's announcement. And Tan Sri has said that law firms go back. We are all unsure of the who, what, why, when, where. But I think we can agree that if you really want to go back to your office, go ahead and apply. And so far, we are also unsure whether council should apply for us because of the undertakings which are required, So that is so far the summary we have had. Am I right so far?
Yep.
That should be right. Okay, let's move forward. I think what if we look at post MCO? I mean, let's be positive. You know, we will prevail. We will get over this. Civilization will move on. I am very confident that we will come out of this stronger. But what do you think, ladies and gentlemen, the future of the bar in terms of the way we as law firm practice and legal services are provided? So, Jaya, in your view, let's now be clairvoyant lah. Kita tengok tilik kita masa depan kita. Pada hemat kamu lah, what do you think is going to be the future? How do you think in Johor, law firms will act and legal services will be provided?
Okay, I think practice will no longer be the same. Firstly, I will discuss it under two terms. One is under the operation side and the other one under the financial aspect of it. If you look at the operation side, even if you go back after the MCO, chances are there will be conditions imposed, right? Social distancing, and then all those safety steps, washing hands and all that will have to be incorporated into our office management. Now, if you are running an office, you have to put in those safety steps at least for 6 months or during that period this pandemic continues. So we'll probably have to rework at our office management. Our management will no longer be the same. All right. If before this you have 2 staff sharing 1 table or you have 2 staff sharing 1 cubicle, that is no longer possible. When you go back, I think there'll be strict regulation because even if we have gone through the critical period, the government would want to ensure that there will be no reinfection. So that we have to look at. Now, when you look at that, then again, question of cost comes back. If you have to redo your office operations, your office management, will there be additional costs?
Yeah.
For those firms that is operating from a limited office space and you cannot incorporate social distancing, your alternative would be to staff rotate. All right, 2 staff come today, another 2 staff come tomorrow, so that there's less risk of infection because you also don't want to be infected. You also don't want your clients to be infected. All right, and your office is too small to have strict social distancing. Then again, you may have to relook at your employment contract. Are you end up continue to pay the same salary or not? All right, let's not go into the legal part of it. But those are the issues. For a short term, let's say for the near term after the MCO is lifted. But after that, I suppose we will get back to the after the 6 months or the 12 months. I think we should go back to what we used to be, but things will never be the same. That is in terms of the operations. Now let's look at the economics part of it. I think we all agree the moment we go back, our clients. If you have a client who is very easy in paying your fees, you are lucky. But not all of us are in a similar situation. Every client will now come and tell us, look, we are all affected by this. And I think that's a genuine concern. Right? If your fees outstanding, you will not get your money as soon as possible. If you get a bit, I think you are lucky. So you probably have to incorporate some sort of projection into your office management for the next 6 months. I'm going to have financial problem. I'm not going to get fees in the normal way which I used to get. So you may have to relook at your financial planning. All right? Because as I said earlier, your cost is stagnant, you know, for all firms, your cost will remain as it is. But your inflow, your revenue is going to be reduced. So you probably have to relook at your financial management or how to incorporate. I will end this point by referring to what the government has given. Of course, I think the government has given some incentive. All right. In the first announcement, there was not much. In the second announcement, for SMEs and all that, it has been given. But those are very short term. For 3 months, I think you have probably will help you to cover with the cost for 3 months. Right. But after that, what's going to happen? Because we know that this situation will not be over within 3 months. All right. Will there be further help? Right? And that again, you have to reconsider. So if you want to go back to practice, post MCO, you have to relook at your operation, you have to restructure your office operations, you have to relook at your office management, you have to relook at your financial management and financial projection for at least 6 months, but better for 12 months. That's all, Richard.
Well said, no wonder you are our chair for small firms. Well done, Not easy to lead, we all know, not easy to lead,
Thanks.
If I can just, before I go around the country, literally go around the country, if I can speak also a perspective of a larger firm. I was very, very fortunate in my career that I also managed to work in a large firm before. And I think for larger firms, I think even the partners would have to review their partnership agreement. There may be impact on the partnership agreement, the cost sharing basis of the partners. the kind of work they're doing. Some work now may find themselves being really less work because they are unable to move on. So, for example, all law firms which has been servicing on, say, factories, may have problem because factories are not able to move, and services which heavily revolve around human tragedies, like accident cases. They will have a problem because the court can't move. These are issues which we may have to review. I think post MCO employment lawyers will be highly sought after, which makes sense. But I think for larger firms in Klang Valley, you will see downsize. You may see some downsize, and I wouldn't be surprised some of the firms, the partners may break away because they cannot sustain the cost in the long run. So we will see that. I think these are all potential happening. I also foresee some small firms may emerge in Klang Valley. They emerge to keep the cost going. So there will be two ways to look at it, lah. Yvonne, in Langkawi or in Kedah, generally, what do you think the future will be? Do you think lawyers will start to embrace more technology, the way you work, you will use up your Google Hangout and Zoom more often? What is your view on all this?
I personally not very good in technology, IT. So in fact, this is from Richard Lee. We learned, this is my first time, okay? So yeah, I think that we lawyers, most from Kedah, I think they are not so going towards this kind of technology thing. So every one of us should start exploring to this kind of training, or maybe they have some CPD courses.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because I'm in PSBC, so I have to think fast, So this guidance to those lawyers, they are not so good in IT, to teach them how we can use IT in their practice.
I think that's the way forward, isn't it? Because I
exactly.
think
I'm so far I'm so good, because I'm been liaising with client using email all the time.
So that's a good start.
And also client trust is there already. So you have to build your client trust so that we can have that kind of conversation without meeting each other. So that is also important. But definitely the business will be slowed down because our legal firm depends on the market demands.
Yes.
So definitely all has to change. Lifestyle has to change.
So can I say to all of this that we have 113 people online. Thank you very much, 113. Anybody here wants to invest in property, go Langkawi, buy property. I'm going to be charged for doing this.
And at the moment is the safest place to go in the country.
So go Langkawi. I don't want to be charged in court later for touting, but Yvonne is there, by the way. But
Richard, can I just add on? You see, the workflow, like what Richard said earlier, the only work, I think, most of the work is going to be stagnant. But there probably will be an explosion of cases on industrial relations, employment law, because firms are looking at retrenching staff, layoffs, and all that. And many tricks will be deployed in carrying out dismissals. So I think lawyers who do industrial relations, you're probably looking at more work. But whether that would equate or translate into more money, I'm not so sure. Now, the other one, lawyers who do commercial work, contract work, contract dispute, and I think there will be an increase of work there because at the moment we know there are many contracts where the compliance with the terms are questionable, and they're already. In fact, I went through many of the firms' website. Almost all the big firms, they've already set out articles on force majeure and frustration. These are the two arguments they're going to haunt the court for the next 1 year when it comes to contract disputes. There will be parties to a contract who would want to take advantage of force majeure, whether it's in the clause or not in the clause, and then of frustration and all that. So lawyers who do that kind of work, I suppose you can expect more work, lah. But you have to be cautious as to whether that would translate into more income, more fees, which then goes on to this issue: how do we collect? I do not know, Richard, whether you want to discuss on the issue of fees. How do you look in terms of revenue for lawyers post MCO?
Ken, we'll talk about it shortly. We'll come
If
to
you
that.
talk about it, then I'll take it later. I'll bring it up.
I'll write it down. Fees, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure all lawyers want to know how to collect fees.
I mean, we all love our job.
Yeah.
We all believe in the law.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, we know that we cannot detach ourselves from the dollar and cents part of it. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
All right. We have to discuss that it is there. It is haunting us. All right.
Yeah.
So I suppose at some point we will have to keep an eye on that. If not, both eyes.
Correct. All right, we got 126 people viewing. Thank you so much. Jadi Ahmad, kalau kita tengok situasi sekarang ni, pada hemat kamu, my favorite word is pada hemat kamu lah. At the Bar Council AGM, the video is playing the whole 1 hour. Pada hemat saya, pada hemat kamu, kalau kita melihat situasi sekarang ni, kamu rasa firma-firma Kota Baru lepas kita buka PKP ni macam mana? Dia cara dia praktis kita masih sama atau mungkin akan tukar?
Susah nak jawab tu. Tapi susah nak jawab. Tapi pada pandangan saya lah, sampai masa untuk kita berubah dengan digital transformation, kena slowly berubah. Misalnya kita terlalu banyak menghabiskan masa untuk pergi ke meeting. Maksudnya start lah traffic jam, sedangkan kita boleh menggunakan aplikasi online untuk buat meeting yang mana dah save cost dan memudahkan dan mempercepatkan lagi. Dan kerisauan saya berkenaan dengan kita nak terima klien lah selepas ni. Kalau kata kita macam office saya, hari-hari tu memang banyak kita terima klien. Jadi kita kena lebih precaution lah untuk menerima klien. Mungkin kita kena start educating klien untuk kita buat online punya meeting lah. Pada hemat saya lah.
Sebab untuk peguam-peguam, sebab baru-baru ni pun saya berbincang dengan peguam-peguam yang buat kes-kes personal injury. Jadi kita tahu untuk peguam macam yang melakukan kes-kes personal injury, keutamaan untuk menjumpa, especially untuk peguam plaintiff, untuk menjumpa dengan anak guam kita adalah amat penting, amat genting. We need to meet client. It's the nature of the work. Betul tak? Jadi saya rasa not everything can go technology as you say, tapi ada kerja-kerja yang kita boleh mencampurkan bidang teknologi kepada kerja kita lah kan.
Betul. Saya percaya macam tu juga. Sebab ambil contoh mudah, masa Majlis Peguam mula untuk impose kepada kita buat permohonan CJ Amalan Guaman melalui online. Masa tu ramai peguam Kota Baru yang marah. Susah nak buat, teknologi tak ada, connection slow. Tapi kita dah melalui fasa setahun 2 tahun, sebenarnya dia lebih mudah. Dan lebih kita tak perlu dah ingat date of admission kita. Semua dah klik saja. Dan buat payment.
Ya, betul. Actually yang masalahnya I think kebiasaannya peguam-peguam, komen saya bukannya untuk mengutuk atau merendahkan maruah peguam. Tapi saya rasa peguam-peguam kita ni seluruh Malaysia, termasuk Sabah Sarawak pun, bila kita nak improve on teknologi, kita amat perlahan. Walaupun banyak kemudahan teknologi bersedia untuk kita, kebanyakannya pun free, percuma, tapi peguam tidak menggunakan, contohnya Google Meet ataupun kita guna this Zoom, putting aside the security of Zoom, tapi all these are free, we can use. So maybe for practice in future in Kota Baru or even towns like Kota Baru, Kuantan, Kota Terengganu, Alor, Ipoh, all these kind of towns, I think maybe we still need client. But for the next 6 months, the meeting, like what you say Ahmad, may need to be planned accordingly. Kamu datang pukul 12, kamu datang 12.30. Sampai tu kena cuci tangan dulu, wash hands dulu. kecek pun 2 meter, you cannot touch too near for, you know. Then so that after that you tell the pakcik or makcik kena guna handphone, kita kena guna handphone, use video call, teach the uncle how to use video call, you know. And there are many videos. Do you know that on Facebook we can also do free video call, you know?
Yeah.
So you can DM the client on Facebook, you know. So I see a comment from Kota Baru, Cik Azizah. Kak Azah kata kadang-kadang klien tu butuh huruf. Betul lah, I setuju. Tapi now lawyer will call client tu. So I think when the lawyer meet the client, immediately teach the client, pakcik macam ni, ini handphone ni pakcik gunakan. Okay, what phone are you using? You teach the uncle straight away. This is how you can connect with me next time. You know, so then we will be able to take time lah, like the SAPC application. Maybe after 1 year, the new normal is talking to the client on video call. Yeah.
Betul,
So,
betul.
Richard,
Dee Wei,
sorry, one more thing. As much as how we are adapting to MCO, there are some clients in the past who would always insist to meet the lawyers in person. And once you meet a client, you realize that it can actually be done over the phone or by video conferencing. So this MCO period also teaches the client that, hey, I don't need to meet my lawyer in person. I can actually communicate with my lawyer online via WhatsApp calls, normal calls, or even video conferencing. So my takeaway point for that would be that while we are also learning and adapting, our clients themselves are also learning and adapting. So post MCO, you would see a more IT savvy society.
Yeah, just add on to that, Richard. I think again, I agree. I think we have seen what are the difficulties post MCO, and one thing that MCO has taught us, one good thing, I mean, it's bad lah, staying at home and all that, but one good thing that has come out is this: life goes on with technology. Practice can go on with technology. And lawyers, Richard would know, when you were pushing for CPD and all that, lawyers were so rigid, you know, because we don't want to move forward. We don't want to try anything new. That's because the nature of our training. Because we are trained, always stand decisive. There must be a precedent, follow precedent. Why are you doing this? Because that is how it has always been done. All right. That is the nature of our training. All right. And hence why we are always not receptive to new ideas. But MCO has taught us technology is there, and better still, it's free. The bulk of the technology for running a firm, actually you can get it free. All right. The office documentation, document management system, your communication system is all available online. You can do it free. So post MCO, we probably have to harness the full advantage of technology. And lawyers being lawyers, unless we are forced to, we don't want to do it lah. All right.
Forced to now.
E-filing, when the courts first came to e-filing, we all put up a fight. All right. The younger members were open for it. The older ones were totally against it. When the court made it mandatory, and now we see the benefit of it. I think e-filing has got about 95% penetration, and everyone is happy because if your limitation period falls in during the MCO period, you can still file your case e-filing. Correct? Yeah. So similarly, when it comes to office management now, how do we move forward? I would actually urge all lawyers, maybe the older ones, you open your eyes to technology. All right? All lawyers use your smartphone and all that. Start incorporating document management into your office. All right, you can access your documents from anywhere. Start incorporating e-communication, like this StreamYard and all those other e-conference methods. Employ technology lah. That's the way forward. Yeah. And also helps you to keep your costs down. You can cut down your staff.
Yeah, good point. Dee Wei, what?
Sorry, one more thing.
Yes, in fact, Dee Wei, I was about to come to you. So, in your view, looking at the post-MCO, generally, what do you think will happen in Klang Valley? It's all yours.
Okay, so before that, just to add on to what Jay was also saying, what the older lawyers should do is what I read, it's called a reverse mentorship. So reverse mentorship is where we, or the older ones, would go and get some form of mentorship for the younger people, because the younger people are more in tune with IT. So there were a lot of things that I had picked up only because I spoke to the younger people, and they brought me and showed me this whole new world of technology and how what we have always been doing in the past and how we thought it should be done can actually be done much better. It's just that we didn't know, or rather we weren't really in tune with what's current.
I agree.
And so to answer, Richard, your question is that whatever we're going to do now is pretty much what we're going to do in the next few years, or rather the next few decades, until something drastic happens again.
You know, Dee Wei, but post MCO, right? Let me ask you this question. While we are all talking about technology, which is the elephant in the room, I think it is very obvious. Lepas MCO ni dari segi mid term ke long term, memanglah amat lumrah teknologi lah akan menjadi rakan karib semua program-program kita. Dan dari segi khidmat guaman pun saya rasa teknologi lah yang akan membantu komunikasi antara anak guam dengan kita. But you know, Dee Wei, what do you think about the consequence of using technology? Do you think, what Jaya hinted just now about cutting costs and all that, do you think work from home will be common? Number one, do you think law firms require such a big office like some law firm operating from bungalow in TJ? Do you think that law firms still require a bungalow in TJ? These are the kind of what do you think, Dee Wei? All yours.
I would think that space will no longer be a necessity anymore. However, again, because of the perception of perhaps from public or the mindset of some practitioners that a physical space is still needed. But to answer your question, that physical space or a large physical space is no longer necessary.
Yeah, I think so too.
We do embrace technology.
While we embrace technology, I also think that yes, I saw Pushpa's comment. Yes, I'm now thinking about my office. I don't know, so big the office, yeah. So but you know, Dee Wei, taking into account technology, yes, we use technology, but there's consequence to it. You know, I think law firms may become even more lean and mean in future.
I think that's the trend. That's going to be the trend. I think space will no longer be a necessity, because with all that technology that you have, you can, and I think all of us deep in our heart, we all want to work from home lah. All right. Now, with all that technology, space may no longer be a requirement for us. But then again, I think we are going back to the old elephant, which is whether our rules allow certain things to be done or not. Hence, whether a mindset change, a generational change is necessary at the bar, whereby we have to come and say, hey, this is the trend, this is the new norm in practice, space is not a necessity, and we may have to relook at the rules. All right, you know, we have rules that requires physical presence of an office. All right, I think, actually, Richard, you remember more than 10 years ago, we were fighting for virtual office. All right, at that time we said it's impossible. Now we see the benefit. If virtual office had been around, a lot of us actually we will be in a better position. Right?
Yeah,
so
actually,
maybe.
Right? It wasn't that long. So you're right. It started 10 years ago. But
it started about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about time, if there is sufficient generational change at the bar, we then have to ask this question, is a space is really a requisite, or is it only a necessary accessory to practice? If you have an office, it's good. If you don't have an office, as long as you can run an efficient practice from wherever you are, even virtually, why not? If you can provide all those necessary safeguards, that's something for the bar to think.
I agree. Actually, on the issue of very interesting point you raised, Jaya, on the issue of virtual office, of course, by majority, I think council at the time voted not to have a majority virtual office. But my personal view, because I'm collectively accountable, but I'm no more in council. My personal view has always been nothing wrong with virtual office, so long as we have necessary safeguards. Well, I think things will change in the next few years. Yeah.
So I think that's why this MCO has taught us many new things, lah. There are a lot of lessons to be taken from this. Yeah.
So speakers, what do you think, speakers, about what about the change in legal services? Because it's already 12 o'clock, but I think we got 100 old people still logging on. Thank you very much. We're coming to the last part of our session. In terms of legal services, not law firm, legal services. So we touch a bit here and there. Do you think the MCO will also make people out. That means that our clients, they will start looking at us differently. So Dee Wei, just now mentioned, some clients, dia orang suka tengok kita. Like Ahmad was just saying, banyak orang jumpa kita. So
Yes.
the nature of our work, people want to see us, which is good. We're not complaining, right? But do you think the new normal will be
I might
where
start charging an attendance fee.
yeah. Because this is where Jay talk about our legal fees, collection legal fees. So do you think there is a way we can do online legal services? So what about you, Dee Wei? I start with you first. Do you think there is we will slowly evolve towards online legal services, and how can we do it?
Well, since my practice is more court related, or rather primarily or solely court related. If the courts, which they are right now embracing that, if we see this trend continuing, then I would say that we will come to a point, hopefully, that when there's no need to even physically be present in court, and we can actually do it like how we're doing it right now. And this is like a whole new submission going on back and forth between opponents and the judge and whatnot. So that would, of course, alter the perception and alter the nature of our legal services. Correct.
It looks like that, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised one day somebody sent a text to Choo Dee Wei. Says, "Hi, Choo, I Googled you and I found you in wherever you are. This is my problem." Then you start offering services there and then,
Correct.
Yeah, that could be the new.
But I think that has happened in some instances already, even pre-MCO. But I think you'll see more cases like that post.
Actually, for those lawyers who are working in Klang Valley, it's quite common. I get texts all the time. "Hi, I saw your name on Google." Then we start talking to them. Of course, some of them are fake, some of them want free legal advice. But the point is, there is a connectivity.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
And some, of course, want to deposit. Some of them will want to deposit millions of ringgit because they are in some foreign country and they want you to be a trustee.
Yeah, we get that email all the time. But apparently, one of our former leaders, even received 2.6 billion. Apparently, in some kind of car.
That's donation, that's donation,
Okay. So what about you, Yvonne? Moving forward, as you mentioned just now, I like the way you say you want to build trust with your client. You email to them. There is an element of connectivity between you and the client. In future, do you think that legal services in Kedah, Perlis, and even Langkawi can be offered slowly but definitely more towards online? And how can you do it? Maybe connecting to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. What is your view?
It will be not so fast compared to Klang Valley because Kedah side, people are still used to the meetup sessions kind of meeting and request for the service. So unless those who are seeking, they are from corporate or even more educated ones will be like what Ahmad is saying, that those from Kota Baru, they are not so IT severe, and then we're facing difficulties lah. But we have to prepare ourselves, and just like what we just said, we train our client and teach our client to use this kind of services too. First, our members have to well equipped with that kind of knowledge first before go to the public.
Betul, correct. So we even have to equip our potential clients, isn't it?
Yes, even members, we lawyers have to well train with this kind of IT kind of services that are available to us.
So on that note, Ahmad, kalau saya mengesyorkan lah, saya tak tahu Kelantan Bar nak ke tak nak buat. Mungkin apabila kita MCO ni dah mengurang, mungkin Kelantan Bar or even Kedah Bar boleh menganjurkan forum untuk rakyat, di mana forum itu hopefully done online, not in the Kelantan Bar building, to educate the rakyat that kalau nak jumpa lawyer, tak semestinya pergi office. Kita boleh jumpa lawyer dengan keadaan melalui social media, melalui Google. What do you think? Do you think it can be done in Kelantan to educate the rakyat that this is the way to contact lawyers?
Possible but slowly lah. I believe so.
Slow,
I believe like same like Kedah. Because pernah sekali tu saya pernah biasalah kita bagi tahu klien nak bayar fees, boleh bank in. Dia reluctant untuk bank in. Masih nak bayar cash. Nak datang, jumpa in person, bayar cash. Yang mana kita rasa berbahaya lah untuk dia sebenarnya. Tapi that's the culture dan habitually memang dah begitu dengan masyarakat kita sekarang.
Yalah, memang kat Kelantan tu banyak orang bawa cash. Kalau kita pergi kat test, you should see yang I mean Ahmad can attest to me. Kalau kamu pergi ke Tesco kat Kota Baru, orang beli barang banyak tapi semua bayar cash tau. Tak guna credit card. Power Kelantan. Yeah. So, but you know Ahmad, untuk firma kamu, dari segi kamu lah, I don't want to talk about the entire Kelantan. Untuk firma kamu lah sebagai contoh, dan supaya program yang melakukan kerja-kerja running down cases, what is your vision for the future of your firm? Taking into account what is happening, apakah kamu rasa visi kamu, apa yang kamu boleh menukar, membaiki? What is your view for your firm?
Saya memang sangat favor kepada digital transformation lah. Sebab saya merasakan revolusi tu sentiasa berlaku dan kali ni memang COVID ni memang berkehendakkan kepada kita untuk melakukan revolusi kepada firm untuk moving forward. Kalau kita tak buat sekarang, mungkin kita akan kena lagi dan kita tidak bersedia untuk menghadapi situasi yang lebih teruk lah pada pandangan saya.
Very good. I like that. Getting ready. I like that. Very good comment. Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have 100 over people online. You heard it from Ahmad, that from him, his law firm based in Kota Baru, to embrace technology, to get ready in case it happens again. I think members have to do that.
I kind of like what Kalpana said there. I think member from Johor.
Yeah.
You see, it's time. Somebody is racing there. Correct.
Yeah.
It's time to think of disruptive innovations, as a revolution to sustain. I think we have to change the mindset. We have to incorporate technology. Those technologies will disrupt the way we have been doing things. But nevertheless, if you want to sustain, you want to move forward, this is what we need. And perhaps, if you look at one way, MCO has basically pushed us towards that, to start a revolution in practice. Correct? Those of us who have actually been suspicious about technology, but then we are using the latest smartphone, maybe want to rethink our position. That, it is disruptive, it's innovation, but that is the way forward.
Correct. I agree. Yeah, since you're online out there, we were talking about methods of collecting fees post MCO. Would you like to share some views on that? Then we will wrap up because it's already 12:10 and then people want to go for lunch. Maybe you can share your thoughts about that.
Oh, me?
Yes, because we're talking about the way.
Okay. Sorry.
Approaching collection of fees.
I think as we touched earlier, we foresee a situation where there's going to be a reduction in collection. Alright. So for work that coming in, all our clients gonna come back and negotiate our fees. So maybe all of us will have to start exploring ways of collecting fees. You have to relook at the way that we collect fees. Alright. How you determine your fees and what will your fees structure? Because now there's a great risk that you're gonna actually provide the best service at the cheapest cost, if not already. Alright. Clients have got additional. So especially the younger members, the younger members who might be new, you have just set up your firm, you're within the first 3 or 4 years of your practice, you may want to be very careful and rethink the way you charge your fees, your fee structure, your fees mechanism, and your fees collection method.
Good point. Very
That's
good
what I
point.
wanted to say. Yeah.
And of course, I think, yeah, very good. That means basically you have to review the way we build and restructuring our bill, isn't it? Yeah.
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 And all this, while we are doing this as some sort of, it's a commercial part of our law firm, we of course still must maintain our integrity, our rules, ethics. It's still priority for us, isn't it?
Of course.
So it's a
Paramount.
delicate balance. So law firms are very unique because we are out there chasing for fees to cover costs, but at the same time we must always maintain our integrity and ethics. So it's something we have to balance, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be done. Richard, you and I, we know, many of us, we know the balance can be struck. You can have a successful practice, you can collect good fees without sacrificing or violating our practice rules.
Yeah.
It's a question of finding the right balance.
I also don't want the message to go out from this chat is that we are always talking about money only. I don't think any of the five of us here are not like that. Yeah. Five of us here are all, we still want to maintain the integrity and ethics. But at this moment, this talk, ladies and gentlemen, we also need to be focused on the commercial side of our law firms, and to protect all the
realities of it.
We are here to protect everybody, to make sure everybody can go through. Okay, so Dee Wei, what is your view? I mean, how do you think looking forward, before we wrap it up, for our
Richard, sorry, Richard, can I make a suggestion? I know we are thinking of wrapping it up. I think we have about 100 over members there, right?
Yes, 105 now.
Yeah, 105. I think I see there's some questions coming up. Do you want to address those questions? Maybe picking out a few and all that? There are some questions that have been pointed there.
Yeah. When I say wrap up, it's among ourselves, and then we start answering the question.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We are still under our...
Okay.
The one I sent you the WhatsApp, so we are still there now. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want to comment anything before we go to the Q&A?
From my on post MCO, well, I would say that learning from my mistake, I really should be more IT savvy. I think I speak for a lot of us. We still like that whole physical thing, flipping through pages and holding something tangible. That unfortunately is not going to cut it anymore. And I say this because I have had stacks of documents which I did not scan it. I was supposed to, but I didn't. And now I'm regretting not doing it since it's all in office and I can't go back to the office. And I think we have to move away from that and learn to read from a tablet or a laptop or your phone even. And that can be done. It just, for some of us, it takes a little bit more getting used to.
Yeah. Okay, so that is about the fees part. I like the way we all approach that because we still need to balance our integrity issues and ethics and with collection of fees. As what Jaya said, I was about to wrap up by going back to questions. Let's go to this can you question. Can you ask a very interesting question? He said that if space is no longer needed, would the next trend be the emergence of individual members? Do you want to try this?
I think GLP would be. Wouldn't be surprised if a lot of law firms would then embrace GLP. That's how I would see.
Then, because Ahmad and Yang, their firms are already a boutique firm in Kota Baru and in Langkawi respectively. So I think they have already virtually running like a chamber. So I think this question is quite related to Klang Valley lawyers and a bigger towns, isn't it? Then, what about this issue? Jasprit Kaur asks, SOP should also include business continuity plan procedures for firms to conduct activities off-site. So, Yang, we have a suggestion that law firms should have our business continuity plan for firms to conduct activities off-site. That means we still run our work outside the law firm. Do you think we should have some sort of SOP?
Reid, are you addressed to me?
Yes, Yang. Do you think we should have some SOP in this? I repeat, or anybody else want to try the question? I think it's a very good question. Basically, should we draft a standard operating procedure for law firms to operate a business continuity plan for firms to conduct activities off-site?
Okay, let me try that.
Jay, all yours.
Okay, I think at the moment we are already doing many of that things offsite. For example, we are meeting. How many of us actually ask clients to come to our office and sign documents? We actually go meet the client elsewhere and get the documents even at their office.
Yeah.
Lawyers who
Yeah.
do developers
Yeah.
work, you do your work offsite. Yeah, you get the clients, the purchasers to sign the documents at the sales office and all that, right? But so I then agree, since we are already carrying some of our activities offsite, and now we see there's the benefit of doing it. Perhaps I agree with the suggestion. I think all firms should actually come up with a standard procedure so that we can have a business continuity plan, make it official to conduct activities offsite. And of course,
Yeah.
that alone may not be enough because you also need to ensure whether our governing rules allows all that. So if there's a need to our governing rules to incorporate that, maybe we have to relook at that so that firms can have such BCP procedures to conduct activities offsite. I would agree with that.
So, anything to add, Ahmad, Yang, on this? I think Jay covered everything.
We do carry out offsite activities and service to clients that are unable to turn up in our office. So the practice is there. It's just that maybe like what Jaya have said, that SOP created from the Bar Council, that kind of thing, to guide those who are not used to this kind of
Style of work.
activities. Yeah, this kind of work. Yes.
Because it's a new thing for all of us, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
Like Ahmad is difficult because he's accident cases. People have to come to him. If he go out and get the work, he may be charged for touting. So very tough for him.
We apply to conveyancing matter lah.
Well, there has been some rumors of lawyers meeting plaintiffs at hospitals and houses.
Oh, really? I've never heard that.
Rumors, Rumors, Yeah.
Rumors,
I don't know whether you consider that
Rumors,
offside.
all rumors.
Joking, guys.
Well, interesting. Okay, so what about this? Our friend Dave, I think he's a partner of Desmond Ho. He said that a new set of working guidelines need to be discussed and drawn up for professional office setup. The Bar Council must be engaged so that we can have put in place, not drenching our secretaries with Dettol as they walk indoor.
Not drenching us with Dettol.
Good point, Dave. Anybody want to try this? Basically, Dave is suggesting that maybe Bar Council or even law firms on our own can set up a guideline on how to set up our office for the next, and I think he meant the next 6 months or so, and maybe beyond. On this. Comments?
Sorry,
Okay,
I don't think it's. I don't think it's an. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Dee Wei,
Jay,
please. Okay. Dee Wei, you want to go on with that?
Oh, sorry. No. Oh no, I don't think it's something for us to. Sorry, I don't think it's something which it's an option anymore. It's a must, and we have to do.
Spot on.
I agree. I agree with Dee Wei. I think it's only best that the Bar Council draw up the procedures. If you are going in post MCO, what should be the safe practices to be incorporated so that there is some sort of uniformity. And I would also encourage, I think, when the government comes out, if I thought law firms are allowed to operate, in coming out with those SOPs, I think they should engage the Bar Council, because the Bar Council knows the rules as to practice, and I think Bar Council can only help in that. Maybe the government ought to engage the Bar Council on this. But they should have. I would agree with that suggestion.
Yeah. So I have another one more. Maybe this one, Yang or Ahmad can speak on a personal point of view. Miss Surya Jyoti has proposed that the council may want to upgrade or redraw our insurance policies to include disaster insurance coverages, especially during uncertain times. What do you think, Yang? Do you think our PII may need to be reviewed, Ahmad?
If you review for payment for disaster insurance coverage, then maybe the premium will increase again. Now is not the time to increase. It should be reduce the premium and with more benefit to the members.
I think the concept of what Miss Surya is, I think it's a very good concept, but maybe not now lah. Yeah. You're right, because knowing the insurance, the moment you want to add something, pump. Right, betul Ahmad, ha? Kita setuju, ha?
Yeah, betul.
Increase the premium.
Okay, but sorry,
Yes. Yeah.
I just want to touch what John, because I am also the deputy chair for the PII committee.
Aha.
All right. Okay. You
There
know,
you go.
the
Now we
committee.
can ask some questions to
All right. Now, every year, the committee has to renegotiate the policies. All right. If the committee had not put in a lot of resistance, our premium would have been much higher.
Yeah.
When it comes to determination of the Yvonne, when it comes to determination of the premium, Bar has got very little say in this, because there are very few insurers who are actually interested to undertake or underwrite a mandatory policy, you know, because ours is a mandatory policy, correct?
Yes.
Which doesn't take into account of your risk factor. And as long as you're covered, they're supposed to pay you. And because of that, there are very few insurers who are interested in this scheme. So each year when we call for tender and all that, very few guys come forward. And because of that, to me, I disagree with that. But the price is, you know, we have not much room there, you know, to negotiate. So what we do is, if they want to increase further, the committee and the Bar Council normally try to press it further so that the increase will not be much. If there had not been a very strong resistance, the premium would have been much higher. Now, is there a way out? Oh yes, there is a way out. The way out is self-insurance funding, or SIF, which is what the committee and the Bar has been working for the last few years. In fact, for more than 10 years, and we have contributed funds. And I think we're actually now in the final stages of shaping up our SIF. And once that SIF comes, I can assure you that our premium will be much lower, because we will then be in control of our funds and of the indemnity. But that is a discussion for another day. To answer your question, it's not much within our control. There is a way out, and I think the Bar is looking at the way out there. The funds are already there. It's a matter of formalizing it.
Sikit lama-lama jadi bukit. Kita akan sampai ke sana.
Yeah, because if you all remember, when you pay your insurance premium, you're paying a sum of 120 ringgit. That is towards our self-insurance fund, which we have been collecting over the last 10 years in order to set. But that requires government approval. So you're going through those processes, and you have to have the necessary fund. So there's a way out. I completely agree. I think our insurance premium should be reduced even much lower, but there's only so much that the Bar can do in this law, as opposed to other charges maybe.
Well, our SAPC is coming up in 4-5 months' time. So let's get ready for this, isn't it? Yeah. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to an end. Can I now invite every speaker to give a summary of what has happened in the last 1 hour, 25 minutes? Unexpectedly a long one. It was such a progressive discussion. Can I first invite up north, Yvonne? Would you like to summarize this discussion in your thoughts, in your words? All yours.
Okay, everybody stay safe. Our discussion basically is on the impact on our firm post MCO, the measurement that we need to take into it, and if you want to operate office in another 3 to 6 months, make sure that what Jayan just suggested, so that kind of thing.
Yeah. So we have quite a number of these ideas today.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Yvonne. You take care of yourself in Langkawi, and we will come and visit you after MCO, after everything's over.
It will take 6 to a year. Maybe one after a year. Langkawi tourism is will be hit very badly.
Unfortunately. So you take care of yourself, Yep. Ahmad, jadi pada hemat kamu lah, kalau kita nak memberi kata-kata ringkasan, summary, what is your view?
Saya percaya kita berada dalam keadaan yang sangat stres dan negatif. Tapi let's be positive lah. Let's be positive. There's something planned by us, to us by the God. Life will always throw something unexpectedly for us, but how we respond it will benefit us in a big difference.
Well said. Thank you, Ahmad. Kamu kena jaga-jaga, jaga-jaga diri kat Kelantan tu, cuci tangan selalu, you know. Kena somor-somor, jaga-jaga somor-somor lah, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Jaya,
Yeah.
Any summary from you? How would you summarize today's panel discussion?
I think it's a good discussion we had. We have identified some of the problems and then how to manage the problem and how to mitigate once the MCO is lifted. But I would say this, I think we are not alone in this. The whole world is going through this. All right. So everyone will be affected. We are just a small, so just be patient. Let's go through it. And we probably have to help each other. All right. I think there are 20,000 of us. We all can help each other so that the effect will be, will not be so much. Now, moving forward, I think all of us will have to rethink the way we want to carry on our practice once the MCO is lifted. Things will no longer be the same. Right? Maybe you can use during this period, these 4 weeks of imposed rest, as an opportunity to rethink our practice, what we have done so far, what are the changes required, and if you are thinking of reimagining your practice, now is the time. And until then, enjoy the rest. Take it as a holiday. As I said, my friend, this is an enforced rest on us. When was the last time any one of us had more than a week holiday or 2 weeks holiday without worrying about anything? All right? That's the bright side of it.
That's true.
Until then, enjoy the holiday.
Yes,
and
thank you very much.
And of course, once more, thank you, Richard. Thank you to Richard V. Chambers for organizing this.
Yes, thanks, Richard.
Fantastic idea.
Yes, Richard. Thank you, Richard.
Dee Wei,
I'm very happy to be here.
Very good. Thank you, Jaya. Thank you. Glad you all made it. Dee Wei, your summary. I'm looking forward to hear you.
We as humans are resilient. We will survive this. We will get through this. And it's great that at least we all know that we are not alone in this. We have come together and I think very hopefully and positively, I think we have become better people, helping each other out, listening to each other. And the takeaway point from this entire session would be that we ourselves have to change. So if we can do that, which I think we can,
of course,
we will get through this, and we will be successful in it anyhow.
Yeah, thank you. Well said, Dee Wei. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we had at the peak of the event about 120 people logged on. And I think many people came in.
Well done, very good.
Can we first give, can I ask everybody who's still left watching us, can we give a cyber applause to the 4 speakers? They have spoken very well, they seem prepared. I think from 4 corners of Malaya, they are all concerned and we are trying to protect everybody in our firms, Well done to the speakers. And can I also say, thank you to all our 100 over signing in, which I think many of them are lawyers. Thank you to all of you for signing in to watch this video. We may do more if you want to hear some ideas. And last but not least, I will say this, I will summarize by saying this, the take home. Number 1, during MCO, we need to adapt to the way things are running. Whether we set up, whether we reopen our law firms or not is really depending on the pain barrier of your firm. Maybe every firm has their own specific pain barrier. So if you need be, go ahead and open. But of course, please be careful. The second point, was about post MCO. So short term, what do we do? Long term, what do we do? The discussions were about the impact of technology, embracing technology, change in the way we work, culture, our billing system need to change, our fee structure would have to be reviewed, and we also need to look at getting clients to connect with us lawyers online instead of meeting us face to face, only online. So I don't think anybody is suggesting we stop face to face. We still meet, but we now completely meeting face to face with online. So. The one thing good about MCO is what Jaya said, we are all forced to change. So with that in mind, I will end up by saying this. I think we have a fantastic panel. Thank you very much to all the panel. Terima kasih. We are all here together. We are all trying to get through this together. And as my favorite phrase at the moment, I think together we will prevail. We will get through this together.
Yeah.
So we get in mind, everybody.
Yeah. And this will also pass.
So
this will also pass.
I will end the broadcast very soon, and I'll meet the 5 speakers offline shortly. So 5 speakers, hold on, don't go yet. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Take care.
Bye.
End of podcast. Adios, amigos, from Richard V. Chambers.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.